do whatever you can. If no, no worry. Be happy.
And I think, look, we can't change where we came from or what we were given. But the one thing we do have a choice in is gratitude.
My dream is come to US and live in better.
Welcome to the Alex Perry on Fire podcast. And today's guest has a really special place in my heart, and for a lot of reasons. But the number one is I could not live the life I live really in work and just natural life without him. And with all that's going on right now with immigrants and new policies in effect, I don't think the Latin community gets enough respect. I never have thought they've got enough respect. They are great members of society. They take on jobs that no one wants to take on. They want to improve their lives. They want to improve their kids' lives. And I just don't know if their story is told enough. And I'm hoping today through Antero Rojas, who has been working with me, and I say with me, for over 15 years, we get to hear about his story. So Antero, welcome to the Alex Perry on Fire podcast.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me. And I really appreciate it.
I also want to introduce Brian Rojas, who's Antero's son, who might translate some things for Antero. And he's not translating because Antero's English isn't good, because your English is as good as it gets. I think the idea is we want to feel from you what you're really thinking, and sometimes in your mind, it doesn't translate as well in English as it does in Spanish. So Brian is here to help us. I'd like to set the tone of how I met Antero and how it's been over 15 years. 18 years from the day we met. And I think it's a great story because it keeps your eyes open. I was working with his brother. When I say working, I needed someone to help me fix some properties. And Antero and I met at a job at a house, and he started fixing one thing for me. And I only say it, this was 18 years ago. And we grew together. He was working at an apartment complex full time. We'd meet at 6 p.m. at night because that was the only time he had available to come meet. And I would sit with him as he fixed the repair. That's how far I go back, that I would wait and sit with him at the house and fix. And I set the tone. I give you credit because where you were 18 years ago versus now, and the fact that you bought into speaking better English allowed for the opportunity that then what we did is he kept working on more jobs for me and more jobs for me and more, and finally said, I think I have a place where you could work full time for me. Would you be comfortable? And at the time he gave up, I think, less money and responsibility for the risk to say, I'm going to go work with you full time.
I learned a lot of stuff from you. So I say if you have a really nice attitude, so I say this is the place. So I try to do better and better. And 2208, my son Brandon born, and because I put Alexander. So that means is what agradecido estoy.
It shows, how appreciative I am that I put Alexander, as his middle name.
I mean, I know that, and it means a lot to me. I guess you just had belief that if you kept doing and building together, it would lead to a life that you're living now. And I say that your boys, all college graduates, or will be college graduates, they all have their own cars.
Yes, sir.
Paid off.
Yes, sir.
You drove the same truck for 20 years until I said, this is enough. This is not safe anymore.
Yes, sir.
I say it for the audience because you made a decision to make your life better. You took risks, but calculated risks, believing in yourself and your ability with a great mindset. Can you share with the audience a little bit about your journey and your mindset when you said, I want to come to the U.S.?
My dream is come to US and living better. I know it's not easy, but I think I can make it. When I was 15 years, yo
You
creo
know, he had
que
big dreams, you know, big illusions being from where he's from, Mexico, and you know, seeing the US as a big goal for him. It was a almost impossible, you know, it's the American dream at the end of the day, you know.
este país.
You always hear about the American dream, and I think that can mean so much to different people coming from different places. When I say the American dream, what does that mean to you for your children?
The American dream to me is to provide them school, better life, and show them if I sacrifice something, they have to be better than me. So to me, I'm really proud of them because they're really good kids. So I think in my part, I do well. I don't know if perfect, but I do well.
Because they're showing you through their effort in schooling, work, uh, morals, ethics, that they see the sacrifice you're doing for them or you've done in the past for them.
So I hope they really appreciate it because, like you say, I worked so hard. So they really better appreciate it because I can give you no money because I don't have no money, but I can give you opportunity to study, to get a better life than where I'm coming from, than me. So I'm really proud of them, of my kids.
And when you say no money, it's just that your money's all going to your family.
Most of that, yeah.
Because we have your son as a translator here, I think it's appropriate to ask him when you hear your dad say that, how does it make you feel, or do you feel almost also some added pressure when you hear him speak like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think he always gave me high expectations and it gives us high expectations. So it does give us the added pressure, but I just always thought, you know, same thing like he said, like the sacrifice he does, I know I have to repay him, and not just, you know, for him, but for myself. And you know, the same way he proved what he done, I can prove for him and for myself through work, through school, that it's worth the effort, that it's worth the sacrifice. And I think all my brothers think the same thing, you know, like we're all putting the effort and showing that we are, you know, being a better, you know, expanding on the life that my dad was able to give us.
So at 15 years old, where in Mexico were you, and what were you giving up? What made your mind up to say, I'm going to leave, and what were you leaving?
Salí de mi
In
pueblo
Mexico,
porque
from
no
the
vería
town I'm from, there was no future there. It was necessary to leave to have a better future, and for not just him, but for his parents, for his
la
family.
gente cuando eres pobre no te ayuda.
You're 15 years old. You left your family, your parents, for a better life. But there was no promise on the other side. It was just this idea, because you never, step foot in the US. It was just a leap of faith.
Yes, yes, faith and work, illusions. You have to be strong because when you leave your country, you leave your family, and you never know if you're gonna come back. So you come with illusion and faith. That's it.
And faith.
Yeah, faith.
And talk to me a little bit. You're 15 years old. You get to the US. What now? I mean, first tell me what the journey was a little bit to get from Mexico, where in Mexico you were, to the US, and what that was like.
It was hard to me to thinking how can help my parents because I was too young. So I, I tried to be strong.
But I'm going to rephrase the question. When you decided at 15 years old, I'm going to make the journey out, like the actual physical journey.
I have to make it or nothing. But yeah, I was with a lot of fear to leave my parents back, everything. So it was hard.
And when you got to the States and did you know anybody? You said you didn't know what work you were going to do at that point. I mean, where are you living? How do you get your footing?
I come with my aunt. I live with her like for 4 months, and nobody gave me work because I was too young. I was 15 years old, so the people asking for work, they told me, "No, you're too young." If somebody uh, in any construction see you too young, they gonna say something because you have to be in a school, not working. But I don't have enough support, so I have to work, and I don't have no choice.
So what you figured it out. You found skill.
Yes.
And then once that started happening, were you know, what was your relationship with Mexico and now this opportunity that you found in the US?
At this point, I feel like I'm from here. My home is Dallas, so 4 years in Dallas means I miss Mexico, but all my family is in Dallas. So my journey in Dallas was hard, but thank you. I'm really proud of my work.
Yeah, and we kind of fast forwarded 40 years, but during that progression, right? Where's your mindset of becoming, proud to be from the US, grateful for these opportunities and taking on, as I said when we started the show, jobs that other people weren't wanting to take on. What's the mindset that goes with that, that dedication or that resilience? Because I'm sure, and please share what's come up along the way in 40 years has been work.
Yeah, I went to different jobs, like say construction, landscape, restaurants. I used to be a painter for years, musician, and then I went to school to get my license for AC and keep working. Try to be better and better and learn from other people. And the opportunities came because I tried to get him better and better. And then I meet you and you give me the opportunity to get him better. Without you, I don't know. But honestly, you give me great opportunity.
And I appreciate that. But what I think I would go back to is, did you have a mindset that said, look, if I keep doing the right things, life will help me out? Coming from, I don't think, if we've set the tone, you came from middle of Mexico. What city?
Cortázar.
Cortázar,
Mhm.
where I would assume poverty was very high.
Yes,
You had said it. There didn't seem like to be any opportunity. I mean, the only way out was the US.
exactly.
Um, and you come to the US, and I'm reframing it. You know no one at 15, but you have this mind, this I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to work. Um, was there always this belief that if you kept putting in the work, then you'd get taken care of?
Yes, I think you have to sacrifice your person and uh, be better all the time. And like I say, it's not easy, but we have to. I have to learn and different opportunities I have in the past. So I think the these 40 years, the from 15 to 20, it was really really hard because I was alone. Nobody was with me. So I went with different friends to be by myself with them. And then from 20 to 27, I was in the painter jobs and musician. And I went when I get married and then I get my boys. And but from those times, I never forgot about my country. I'm always send money to my town home, to my parents, to my family there. Most of the time, I try to help them wherever I can. So because I know it's really hard in Mexico, really hard.
This idea that you believed you were making a better life for yourself, and this strong belief that you had that and faith in God, and that pretty much no other choice, but you also wanted a better life for your family um, as well. When you think back upon your journey, and now you have 3 kids, um, what's the thing you're most proud of, or what was the biggest? And if you can in English, if not, no worries. But like, what do you think was the spot where it changed your life? Right, where you said, "Okay, this is a change," and or things started happening for you, um, that just that made life easier in that huge struggle to get up to there.
Cuando
It was around when I was
pensé
20,
de que ya era momento de
I
hacer las
felt
cosas,
that at that time I had to
hasta
start
los 20
working and everything had to come
que me
together,
metí a
including the
trabajar
music.
fuerte
And I just thought from here on now,
y en
it's
la música
100%.
y dije de aquí para adelante.
Do you feel like you had a childhood, or do you think you were thrown into just being this provider? Because when you start at 15, and as you said, you had that pressure to work and send money home. Um, do you feel like you got that childhood, or that was never kind of your life?
Unfortunately, no.
Desafortunadamente no.
I had
Yo
started
empecé
working
desde
when I
los
was
8
8
años
years
a
old.
trabajar.
8 años, 8 years
8 años.
old.
Yes.
What type of work were you doing?
I help the people in the farms with the cows and with any they asking for money. I help everybody after school.
So do you think as a Latin community, it's kind of been ingrained since almost like early childhood that you have to work?
Yes.
And do you think that's why, and I say, because we started the show off with, I don't think the US economy, and I don't think I'm alone in this, would function without the Latin community. I don't think it's possible. Do you think that because of that, you see all the Latins willing to do these jobs, willing to, make their life better, willing to take on the stuff that a lot of Americans don't take on because it's just been ingrained in their culture, or it's the only way out?
For me, I think it's the only way out because when you are in US, you have to work in wherever opportunity you have because it's the only way. I don't have no school. I don't have nobody to support me, so I have to work by my own.
And when I hear that, I mean, I know you're a proud Mexican, but does that make you a little sad for the country that's not providing that for
Yes.
the
Yes.
citizens of
Yes.
Mexico?
Yes. Especially for the country areas, they do not support well. I don't know now. I can talking about now, but when I was there, it was no support for kids. So you don't have no choice. You have to. A lot of young guys marry really young, so I don't want to do that. So I say I need to do something different.
And I say, Mary Young, is it because you almost like need that support? It's one of those things where like at least we're going through this together, and there's family to support the hardships.
Yes.
And I don't want to speak for you, but I know how happy you are. Where does the happiness come from?
From las ganas de vivir feliz.
From the want to live a happy life.
Lo agarro de la gente que me rodea. Trato de juntarme con gente positiva.
I get it from people that I'm around, and I try to surround myself with positive people.
And when people are not nice to you, when there's racism or kind of this mentality that people are, better than yours, how do you handle that internally?
Well, it's really hard, but sometimes I don't want to discuss with people. I just prove myself with work. If they don't want to respect me or their race, I just turn my back on and leave it. I don't want to discuss with no people. I respect everybody, but I don't want to discuss.
Did you have to learn that, the ability to kind of turn your back on them?
Yes. I have a lot of problems in the past. They point me with the finger, a lot of back stuff, and they tell me a lot of back stuff. A lot of people told me go back to Mexico, and I say no. They make it more strong, so I say no. I don't go back to Mexico. I have to stay here because I want to prove myself. I can be here.
Yeah, is that difficult when you know how much you're providing to the country you now love, America, and people are telling you to go back to where not necessarily your home is anymore?
Yeah, it's hard, but you don't have no choice. You have to delegate with those people.
And what do you teach your kids who were born in America, but you obviously have such a tie to Mexico still? How do you embrace that side of life?
I try to teach them to respect everybody, so they can they need to try the people the way they want try them back. So I think respect is the best way to with the people.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Your kids are your second generation.
Yes.
Their kids will be the third generation. We talk about it all the time, like generations are lost. They lose that mindset of where you came from, the hardships you've endured, the life, that you had to sacrifice for your family. How do you hold that? How do you hold that? How do you remind and keep that door or that mindset to that generation, because otherwise we see it so often it is lost.
Yo les digo a ellos que
Yeah, I tell them to focus, to study, and I try to tell them to not forget the culture of Mexico and make the sacrifices that I've done worth it.
Yeah, and do you embrace a lot of the Mexican traditions and kind of celebrate as much as you can that part of life as well?
Sí.
Of course, I feel Mexico in my blood as if I just came from there.
Sangre.
What stops you from just getting burned out from just, saying enough's enough?
My sons have to show them you never give up. You have to keep working. And my little one, 16 years old, he pushed me on music now. So it's another.
With the music, he's pushing me to do new goals and get back into music too.
And he gave me more inspiration.
It's a love of your life. You've shot music videos that I've seen and told you to invest in them because it's your joy. It brings me joy talking about it. brings me joy seeing your guitar. It brings me joy watching those videos because it's like a caution to the wind for you. So how did music become so important to you, and why do you carry that with you still to this day?
The music is my dream, my life, and give me a lot of power for my life. Like a situation like we just talking, give me like energy. So music is life for me.
Do you think that they can give you some back of your childhood and play,
Yes,
which is fun?
yes,
Get to live with your sons and kind of play with your sons.
yes.
And when I tell you to take time off, how does that feel?
I feel great, but I don't want because I enjoy my job. I enjoy. I don't have a problem to work 12 hours, 10 hours, and I love my job.
Is
I love what I do.
I don't think it matters where you come from, where you started. You get ingrained in these. Part of my breaking of my pattern is these 60-hour work weeks. And then how do you pull that back? How do you go play? How do you have time for yourself? Um, it obviously sounds like you found it through your kids, which is, brings you joy. Um, but you know, what kind of gets you go what in the morning when you wake up, what fires you up? What says, okay, um, this is for me.
Well, in the morning, first thing what I do, I say thank God first thing, and then I want to say thank to you to give me opportunity. But I say I have to enjoy every single second. And looks weird or sounds weird, but I enjoy what I do. I don't. I try to and the weekends be with my family. We went to different places like San Antonio, wherever I can. Look movies, and I enjoy a lot with them.
Yeah, it puts a smile on my face because it's just the little things, right? I think you have a great way of seeing just the littlest of things in the day that you find gratitude in a very demanding workplace. Again, I couldn't work without you. My life would be significantly altered without you. And for the audience, Antero helps me manage all my properties. He helps fix issues that come out of nowhere, whether it be gas leaks or floods or just painting or you name it. But he does it with such a smile on his face, and everyone says, "Where'd you find this guy? I love him so much, and he's so happy." And there's so much that I could go on and on about you, but what gives me energy and makes me smile is there is gratitude. There's such internal gratitude for the way you work and the way you live, and you came from a place that would have been easy for you say, well, that's obviously easy for him to have the gratitude, but when people are demeaning to you, whether it be race or just demeaning, when people tell you go back to your country, when you're not paid, I like to think now you are paid well for it, but when you aren't respected and paid well, and when it is a grind and all these things, you make it easy to sound, but it's hard. It's hard work, and 60-hour weeks for 24 years. And I think what I love so much and why I like being around you too is I feed off that, right? I feed off the ability for you to say, well, you're just happy to like you just said, happy to wake up, happy to have time with your kids, happy to be doing a job that was better than the last job, right?
Exactly.
And it's this mindset that if we can find these wins, these little wins each day, it makes it easier. Not completely easy, but it makes life easy. And you have a saying I'll share with the audience because you say it all the time. You say, "Don't worry, be happy." Literally, don't worry, be happy. You say it to everyone you come across with, even when they're like, the house is flooding. Don't worry, be happy. And it's such a simple thought, right? Like, unless it's something to seriously be worried about, don't worry, be happy, right? Like, um, it's kind of calming and nice in the face of something that it could throw you off, right? And where does that come from?
Honestly, I learned from my grandpa. He say, "Do whatever you can. If no, no worry. Be happy." Because sometimes you can do stuff and sometimes you can. So, what are you gonna do? Be happy. Yes, enjoy every moment, no matter if it's bad moment or if it's something you can fix it or fixable. Something's gonna happen. So, no worry. It's gonna be okay.
And in the face of adversity, because I know that you went through a very like awful time where um, now you're a citizen uh, in the process, but before that, uh, you were they were trying to kick you out of the country. For the audience, I'll give a little background on the story, and the reason why it hit me as well is because I think that if you don't have help in this circumstance, there is no hope, and it's sad. Antero has 3 kids, an American wife. All his kids are American citizens. He was in the process of getting his citizenship, and in 2017,
17.
new immigration laws came out where they were picking up,
My house.
yeah, and Latins just anywhere they could who didn't have proper documentation to be here and trying to ship them. And that sounds awful, but that's the way it was. It
Yes.
felt like someone was shipping you
Mhm.
out of the country. You know, uh, he called his. I got a call one day from his brother, and they said to me they got Antero. Those were the words. Makes me emotional actually. But they said they got Antero, and I'm like, what do you mean they got Antero? And they're like, they got him, almost like kidnapping. Like that's the way it felt. And I'm like, well, what do we do? I'm a problem solver. Let's figure this out. It ain't that simple. It's not I can walk down to ICE or customs and go grab Antero. Um, it was really scary. It was scary because we couldn't talk to Antero. He was held up in prison, I think, right? Like
Mhm.
they had held him there for some old, very minor violation. And nothing criminal, but a violation. And so in retrospect, that was lucky because had they not, they would have put him on a bus straight to Mexico. 3 kids, a wife in America, shipped back to Mexico. And I say ship because that's what they were doing,
Yes.
in all due respect. And luckily for him, and I think the universe, there was a flaw in the system that he had to be held until this violation was cleared. Once the violation was cleared, then they would send him home to Mexico. And so what happened is we had 2 lawyers. We had a criminal lawyer just to get the violation, and then we had an immigration lawyer. And what they told me was his criminal violation will get dropped, but we have 30 minutes from when it's dropped to get the papers to immigration, and then a random immigration officer will decide on the spot whether they will release him back out into society, which sounds crazy, but that's what it was, or he'll be shipped on the next bus home to Mexico. You will not know when this happens, but you'll get a phone call, and at that point, and so for 2 weeks, we were all hands on deck. I would take any phone call from any random person, not knowing what would happen. And all I could hear was from, I think you explained, did you get any phone calls? I mean, you were kind of, each day they would take you down to immigration each day, right?
Yes, sir.
You'd be on a bus. You said it was freezing. And just explain kind of, I don't know if you feel comfortable what that was like.
Fue una situación.
Yeah, I mean, it was a hard situation, considering, having family here and then the possibility of being shipped to Mexico. And it was a really hard situation. Thank God, and thank Alex Perry that he was able to find a solution in such a short time.
But not about necessarily me, and I appreciate. How were you treated in that time frame?
It's been
It was a
difícil.
really hard time. I suggest people, if they're here in the United States, they respect the laws and behave and according to the law and yeah, just respect the laws of
Pero
the
hay que
United
respetar
States.
las leyes.
And I'll summarize a little bit. You have such respect for the U.S. that even in the face of the U.S. treating you inhumane, because I was there, and you saw it, and I heard about it. They did not treat you like a human. You've told me things of like, you know, basically treating you like herd
Yeah.
of cattle, of sheep, of kind of moving you in directions and not giving you enough food or like again, it was or really a place to sleep, all these things, and not even being I think aware to the fact of how scary this must be. There were people when this was going on who did not speak Spanish who were getting sent to Mexico. They had never been in Mexico. They didn't have US citizenship and they were getting sent home. I remember it. And I'm only setting the tone, the fact that like it was a problem then. I don't know now. I have not dealt with customs, but I assume it is a problem now. It's just not a very fair process. Yet you sit here and you still are proud to be in this country and be a part of this country and provide for this country. And I appreciate that, right? Like in times where it hasn't treated you the best, you still have nothing bad to say. You just said it, respect the laws, pay your taxes, you do all these things. And so, um, it just goes without saying that you are a great citizen to this country, as good as any, citizen that was born here and is given that lucky, that citizenship. It was it was a growth story for us too. So I appreciate it. You say about me, but I learned a lot from it too. And it made us closer. It made us more like family because I think I also understood more where you came from. And I think, for the audience listening, when you see the Latin community working, so many construction jobs, restaurant jobs, just service industry, like don't take it for granted because you don't know their story completely. And if you did, I'm sure it'd be one of crazy resilience. And I think, look, we can't change where we came from or what we were given. But the one thing we do have a choice in is gratitude, for where we are, how we see things, and how we can react to them. And one thing I take from Antero and his family and his boys is this just willingness, this acceptance to say, this is where I'm at, and I'm going to make my life better. And it's not all work. It is a lot with you, but they play soccer. The boys come and they play soccer together, and they musicians and it's refreshing. I trust you wholeheartedly, which is nice too. And anyone that asks me for you, I say, no, that's my guy. They can't take my guy. But there's two things I'd like to finish up with before I let you play the guitar, because I know it brings you such great joy. Is one, Alex Perry on Fire. I'm going to reiterate, and in English, what just comes to mind, what fires you up? What really fires you up every day?
My fires every day is to be nice with the people, uh, show my boys they need to be better every day, every day. If you do something good yesterday, you have to do better today. If you do something good today, you have to do better tomorrow. Be proud where you're coming from. And thank God every day.
And then we do donate to charity of choice. So what charity would you like us to donate in your behalf?
I donated every time to St. Jude's Hospital for a long time because the kids is the world, the future. So we need help at St. Jude Hospital.
Love that. That's a charity we love giving to. So, special thank you, Brian, for being the translator. Antero, you are like family to me, and so as I said, I would tell you that I can't live my life without you on the work side, but from being in this podcast and sharing so much with the audience, it's not all about work. My ability to be present and be happy is from being able to lean on you in times of help, times of need. And it's not just from your work, it's from your attitude as well. It's a very nice reminder to don't worry, be happy. Send us off with a song. If you don't mind, tell us what it is and play for us.
Yeah, this song is remind my grandpa. He loved this song, so I'm gonna sing a little bit of this.
Please.
Me caí de la nube que andaba como a 20,000 metros de altura. Por poquito y que pierdo la vida.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Alex Perry on Fire. It means so much to me and the wonderful team that makes this all possible. I'm now passing the flame to you. Please follow, like, and subscribe so you can always stay up to date. Thanks again, and stay fired up.